uh, debate different topics in rock and roll and hold a series of debates and discussions about different opinions people may have on popular music. Oh, hi. I got a listener in the audience. This is my new show where I talk about I like to hold discussions about rock and roll and different opinions people might have. Oh, hi. The topic I wanted to talk about was who do you think the best band in punk rock of all time is? The best punk rock band of all time. Can you say what does that mean? What's that supposed to mean? Another person in the audience, Roby Pie. What about okay? So I have somebody named so Eddie Van Halen of Van Halen. My son Wolfie's environment is music. He's already written a couple of ditties himself on piano. He starts humming along to a little bit. He's into Sonic the Hedgehog and probably like I forgot what he called it. He hangs around with and he says, okay, so the topic of discussion I wanted to raise for today is what's the best punk rock band of all time? Who would? Does anybody have an opinion on that? James Hetfield of Metallica says, America is a fucking good place. I definitely think that. And that feeling came about from touring a lot. You find out what you like about certain places, and you find out what you live, why you live in America, even with all the bad, fucked up shit. It's still the most happening place to hang out. I'm reading this book. It's a Rolling Stone publication, and it's called Rolling Stone Faves. What's your rock and roll favorite? Rock and roll favorites faves. Rolling Stone. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Anyways, well, this is the preface by Matt Pinfield. In the spring of 1983, I attended Rutgers University, and ranking up more hours of DJing on the campus of the radio station than studying any of my classes. As a music and promotion director, I sometimes had to get creative in my quest to land an interview with one of my favorite artists for my show. Um, you only care about Queen? I'm not really into Queen. I'm sorry. You like Queen? It's okay. I don't know. I guess when I was a kid, I used to like Queen. I used to like Bohemian Rhapsody and everything, but I'm just not. I'm not really into it. Okay, I have an idea. So for a rock debate, I've got this book in front of me, and I'm going to raise up. I'm just going to look through these names, and I'm going to find out first of all who in the audience has ever heard of this artist and what you think of this artist, whether you like him or not. So, Lou Reed. Who's a fan of Lou Reed? It's the best. You like Lou Reed? Oh no, Queen. Yeah, no, Queen. I can dig some Queen, but it's not the. I don't think it's the best. I really don't think it's the best. What do you think is that? I mean, I like really raw rock and roll. I like really gritty, kind of like. I like real gritty, kind of like raw, just heartfelt, heart on your sleeve, kind of like creative, kind of like imaginative. What is the stream? This is I'm starting a new stream to debate rock and roll, to debate different. Well, I wanted to raise like different like issues. I wanted to have like different topics of debate within rock and roll and hold a open forum for discussion on these topics to see, have like kind of a debate. It's kind of a show that it is. Yeah. So I wanted to debate with the audience different rock and roll things. Have you heard of Trippie Redd? Never heard of Trippie Redd. Listen to what Lou Reed said. Lou Reed, prior to Zuma, he said, I couldn't stand Neil Young. He didn't like Neil Young. I'm kind of surprised to hear that Lou Reed didn't like Neil Young. I mean, they're both great artists, Lou Reed and Neil Young. But Lou Reed didn't like Neil Young. Listen to what he says. I couldn't stand Neil Young. I couldn't be bothered. His lyrics can be so stupid, so West Coast dumb. But listen to this. The guy's been working on this. It made me cry. It's probably the best I've ever heard in my life. The guy's a bitch of a guitarist. He's got everything in there. He's got it right. He said that in 1976. I mean, I actually happen to think that Neil Young is a great songwriter and a great guitarist too. But Lou Reed likes to be controversial though. But King Crimson, you listen to King Crimson. Let me look this up and see if there's anything about King Crimson in this book. King Crimson. Wait a minute. King Crimson. King Crimson. I don't think so. It's not in this book. Did you ever hear the album Red by King Crimson? Red? What do you think of that album? Bono of U2 says, Bruce Springsteen was our guide, not just in the way he described the world, but in the way he negotiated it. Words like dignity and integrity, they could hem you in, but he actually stretched them and inhabited them to the point that they weren't just corny. I remember thinking we would never play arenas. We could never play arenas. Then I went to see him do it. I felt it all over the stadium. He made a whisper go a long way. And I thought, okay, we can do this. Wait a minute. I have only listened to the first album that's like 2 songs from Red. Yeah, King Crimson's Red. It's a pretty good album. But this stuff is really challenging. This stuff is kind of hard to latch onto. It's like, it doesn't have like those like ear candy hooks that you would hear like in most pop rock songs. It's kind of like more, it's different. It's kind of like it's that progressive rock, which is not for everybody. But hi Ethan Ricco. Hi Ethan Ricco. We're talking rock. This is Rock Talk, and I started this. This is the premiere of my YouTube live stream. It's going to be rock and roll debate, rock and roll discussions. I just want to discuss because what happened. The reason I opened this. The reason I started this new live stream is that I recently was doing a live stream. I was doing a live stream for my Heather's script, Heather's 2 script. And as I'm doing it, a lot of people just kept, asking me, telling me that they like my guitar work and they like my songs and everything on YouTube. And all they seemed to want to, they weren't, didn't seem to be as paying as much attention to my script as they wanted to talk music. So we started talking music. It went really well. And so I thought, why not open a show where, why not start a show where it's kind of like a debate show for rock and roll music? Yeah, I could have a different topic each night or a few different topics. We could have arguments about it and debates about it. And I always like talking about music. Anyways, I mean, I love listening to music. I love playing it, but then I love talking about it too. I'm kind of like, I'm really obsessed with it. With progressive rock, I've listened to Jethro Tull and their Aqualung album. Have you watched Stevie T? No, who's Stevie T? Oh, wait a minute. Do you guys like Tom Petty? Tom Petty. Here's what Tom Petty had to say. Dave Grohl's such a great musician. I've never played with anyone who plays the drums like that. He said that in 1995. That's pretty cool. Tom Petty, go figure, he's a fan of Dave Grohl. I didn't know that. You got some really cool quotes by some of these famous people in rock. That's what this book says. It's a Rolling Stone book, Raves. What's your rock and roll favorites favor? What influences the people who influence us? Oh, so this is a book about different rock and roll artists and like the music that they're influenced and how they got what they were influenced by. And so it says like, what influences the people who influence us? To answer that question, Rolling Stone created the Raves column. Rolling Stone should be paying me for this. A forum for popular recording artists to discuss their influences, favorite movies, books, bands, food, clothes, country stories, and albums. And that's just the subjects. Raves, what your rock and roll favorites favor, is a compulsively readable collection of anecdotes, rants, rages, gushes, and testimonials from the artists who, for better or worse, have shaped our times. Whether you're looking to get turned on to a great singer, movie, or book, or you're just curious about what inspires everyone from Bo Diddley to Jerry Garcia to Ozzy Osbourne to Sean Puffy Combs to Bjork, Raves is a must for anyone who, to paraphrase MTV VJ Matt Pinfield's preface, wants to feel a spiritual and soulful connection to the artists who touch our lives with music. So maybe my new show could be like kind of like almost like the same is the thesis to this book. It's like a rock and roll discussion. I mean, it's like a forum that I can hold for rock and roll discussions. And yeah, Foo Fighters are a great band. Yeah, so. But my favorite album, what's your favorite Foo Fighters album? It's like some are better than others. I thought the Color and the Shape came out in 1997. That was the best one they put out, I thought. But the first one was great, and then they started to sound a little bit too much like REO Speedwagon or something. But now they're rocking hard again, I think. So it's pretty cool now again, I think. Anyways, here's what David Bowie said in 1976. I should probably bring this book to a lot of these like discussions that we hold. Wait a minute. Okay. This will be our Bible. It's called Rolling Stone Raves. Okay. David Bowie in 1976 said, yeah, The Color and the Shape is great. Yeah. But it's got Monkey Wrench, of course, and all the songs that they play to death on the radio. But there's other good songs on there you don't hear as much on the radio, too. But David Bowie said in 1976, you know what he said? He said, I already consider myself responsible for a whole new school of pretension. Really, I'm quite serious about that. The only thing that seems to shock anybody anymore is something that's pretentious or kitsch. Pretentious or kitsch. You have to hit people on the head and pretend, and pretension does the trick. It shocks as much as a Dylan-esque thing did 10 years ago. Okay. These are some really good quotes in here. Let me see. Bjork in 1994 said, Milton Nascimento is brilliant. I never heard of him. odd chords, so it brings a bit of an edge. I listen to it when I'm in a shivery mood, kind of like when you haven't got a skin on, and it makes me happy. Okay? That sounds like something she would say. Tanya Donnelly of the Throwing Muses and Belly says, Dr. Jack Kevorkian provides dignity to the dying. I think it makes sense. Tubes hanging out of a dying person. That's cruelty. Why is she talking about that? Okay, okay. Sting in 1993 said, I like to take care of myself, but I'm not a health freak. I do drink. He does drink. I'd like to know. That's something I'm happy to know because I don't like to think that Sting is just like this perfect, clean living, doesn't even drink type of guy. I mean, I'm happy to hear that he drinks because I don't like to think that all he does is like eat perfectly and do yoga and just like lives like a saint. I think it makes him cooler actually. Okay, I do have the occasional joint, and he does smoke the occasional joint. Cool, but I don't do anything to excess, and that's smart. Okay, I don't think anyone should take drugs before they're 40 years old. I'm talking strictly about casual use. If you're not addicted to drugs by the time you're 40, you're not going to become addicted. That's some pretty good insight. He said that in 1993. Let me see. Matthew Sweet said in 1995, he said, most people are real movie heads. Most people who are real movie heads go into Ed Wood. But I think middle America thought it was too weird and focused on the cross-dressing aspect. Martin Landau as Bela Lugosi made my skin crawl. He said that in 1995. I was too focused on the cross-dressing. Yeah, because in that movie, the director, Ed Wood, played by Johnny Depp, used to wear women's clothes. Because I guess the real director used to do that. But Johnny Depp, I guess in the movie, he portrayed the character. He played up that aspect of the character too much. Okay. Let me see. Tina Weymouth of the Talking Heads in 1996. This is what she said. Talking Heads in the Tom Tom Club. Train spotting is like Salvador Dali's Un Chien Andalou. You don't want to see the eyeball getting slit and the ants crawling out of a hat, but they stay with you. Okay, I think I understand that. I'm trying to look up some of my favorite people in this book. I'm just going to stick with the people that are like I'm the biggest fan of in this book. That I mean, not just like like John Popper or Bonnie Raitt or something. I'm going to find the ones that I'm truly a huge fan of. Okay, let me see. Holly Jean Harvey. Tom Waits doesn't care and is not interested in making money. No, that's so fucking cool. He's just in it for the music, He explores all different avenues, like writing film music, acting, doing music for theater. That's what I'm interested in as well. Just making the most of your time here on Earth, seeing how many different ways you can push yourself and explore. 1995. Now, she's a great artist, Polly Jean Harvey. Let's see. I'm looking at the people that I most admire in this book. Wait a minute. Kurt Cobain's in here. Wait a minute. Lou Reed. Here's what another thing Lou Reed had to say. He said, in 1989, this is a quote from Lou Reed, I love Dion. He has the most astonishing voice. I felt this way from the first day I heard him on the radio. He was the first white guy I heard on the radio that could do that can do that Bronx soul. It wasn't rockabilly, and it wasn't like the Penguins or one of the doo-wop groups. It was just this incredible other thing. He just killed me, and he still does. I backed him a couple times. I sang the bass part because I grew up on that stuff. He really complimented me once. He said, I couldn't go on the road with them. I had it down. But of course, I've been rehearsing for that for years. 1989. Okay. So it's a good nostalgia trip, and there's some great quotes in there, some from some of these rock icons and legends. Maybe I should call the show Rock Icons. I mean, the working title for the show is Rock Talk, but I think I could do better for a title than that, just Rock Talk. Rock iconography, rock icons or rock iconography. I was going to call it like Mike's Musicology. I'm trying to think of the best title for the show. Okay, welcome to Rock Talk. This is a new show that I've developed that where I want to hold discussion groups about rock and roll. This is what Lisa Loeb said in 1997. I love going to Japan. I see a lot of fans wearing glasses and a lot of people show up at my hotel. A weird thing that they do when I walk out on stage is yell, kawaii, which means cute in Japanese. It's a really big word there. You'll hear kids yell kawaii and then yelling my name, Lisa, Lisa. Lots of fun. Oh, cool. I had lots of fun. How's it going? And they sing along to every song. It's wonderful. It's weird but flattering. My dream is to see a Lisa Loeb t-shirt with a weird English slogan on it. It hasn't happened yet. There was a banner in my hotel that said, "Welcome, Lisa Loeb, Honey, Honey Eyelash, 1997. Yeah, she's kind of cutely weird, that Lisa Loeb. Okay. Let's see. Robert Smith of The Cure. Who's a Cure fan? Okay. Smashing Pumpkins came up to me in Paris and said they like what we do. It's really gratifying when bands tell you that. 1996, he said that. So Robert Smith is a Smashing Pumpkins fan. That's cool to know. Well, it sounds like he is. Okay. Because I'm sure Billy Corgan's got to be a fan of The Cure. Okay. Let's see. Dave Perner of Soul Asylum said this in 1998. I was coming through customs in America and Runaway Train was on the radio in the custom officer's booth. Our road manager goes to him, "That's these guys, they're on the radio." And the officer was like, "Okay, you guys over here searched us." Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay. Leanne Rimes said this in 1997. Bonnie Raitt is awesome. I met her at the Grammy Awards because she was in the same dressing room I was. She actually came up to me and said, "I love your music." It was pretty cool. It was one of those things. I really don't get starstruck by anybody anymore because some of them are really my friends and I figure out that they're just like everybody else. 1997. Okay. Aaron Barrett of Real Big Fish said this in 1997. Nothing's changed except that now people come up to me and ask me to sign my name on little pieces of paper. Okay. That's a pretty funny insight. That's pretty funny observation. Well, hello. Just on your channel. That's pretty cool. Oh, thanks, Random Vids. Very nice of you. We're talking rock. This is a new show that I'm trying to introduce to my YouTube audience. It's called Rock Talk. It's a show where I'd like to hold a discussion. What's this channel about? It's Rock Talk. We're talking rock. Where I want to debate rock and roll, have rock and roll discussions, rock and roll debates. And I brought for this episode, I brought this book with me. It's called Raves, and it's what influences the people who influenced rock and roll. So all the legends of rock and roll. like all the people that we've been talking about, these are the artists that influenced them. Okay. Gwen Stefani, of no doubt. She's fucking cool. Um, anyways, I'm a terrible drinker, meaning I have a terrible time getting alcohol down my throat. Well, that's something I'm not terrible at, drinking. Okay. I'm trying to learn how to drink beer and become an alcoholic. She's trying to become an alcoholic. That's really interesting. So I can fit into the whole rock and roll scene. So that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Gwen Stefani says she's not a good drinker, but she wants to be an alcoholic so she can fit into the rock and roll scene. I think that's hysterical. I think my favorite beer is Corona. I like it a little bit. I do like Shirley Temples. Some people think they have alcohol, but they don't. Just 7 Up with that red stuff in it. And cherries. I have to admit, I'm totally a goody. I don't do drugs as of yet, but who knows? I might become some huge heroin addict. What the actual fucking hell I just heard? That's what somebody said, and then he said, "What the fuck?" I was just talking about. This is rock and roll. Okay, I'm posting this this rock and roll debate show that I'm starting on YouTube. It's all the legends of rock and roll and what influenced them, what inspired them to create the legendary music that they recorded for us. Okay. Lindsey Buckingham and Fleetwood Mac. We were in the 5th grade, my friend and I, and we had a little section of my backyard that was just all woods. Very small. My friend and I had been to Disneyland, and we went on the Jungle Cruise. When we got back, we went out into the backyard and dug a little river, filled it with water from the garden hose, and made our own jungle. It was great. We even had some sound effects. I dragged a speaker from the record player out there and put on a sound effects record so we'd have noises. Ook, ook, ack, jungle noises. I don't think many kids did things like that. He said that in 1980. Okay. What is my favorite band? The Pixies. Okay. Eric Clapton said this in 1985. There was a funny Saturday morning radio program for children with a strange person, Uncle Mac. He was a very old man with one leg and a strange little penchant. No, I didn't say that. He'd play little things like Mule Train, and then every week he'd slip in something like a Buddy Holly record, a Chuck Berry record. And the first blues I ever heard was on that program. It was a song by Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, with Sonny Terry howling and playing the harmonica. It blew me away. I was 10 or 11. Scott Wayland of the Stone Temple Pilots said this in 1993. I was a pretty apathetic and lonely kid. I guess I never felt that I was liked very much. When I was younger, the only friend I really had was an imaginary friend named Poogus. Yeah, that's a weird comment. Scott Wayland said that when he was a kid, the only friend he had was an imaginary friend named Poogus. Okay. I used to blame things on him. Yeah, that guy's really strange. Okay. Let me see. What the fuck is happening in that book, bro? Okay. Whatever, Sir Black Knight. Okay. Let's see. This is a Rolling Stone publication. Did you ever hear the publication Rolling Stone? Okay. You didn't read that book? I got this book. I got this book for $2. years ago. Okay. The clearance bin. Um, Lenny Kravitz said this in 1994. I was lucky because my parents were into music. So I've seen everybody from Duke Ellington to Count Basie to Ella Fitzgerald to Sarah Vaughan to Miles Davis to Bobby Short at the Cafe Carlisle to James Brown at the Apollo to opera. But my first musical memory is that song Born Free. My grandmother said I used to love that record when I was about 2 years old. Okay. He said that in 1994. Let's see. I like rock, but I didn't see that book at all. Didn't mean to see it. Didn't mean to see a weird guy. The guy in the book. Weird. Fuck that shit. I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. Billy Joel said this in 1999. Beethoven was writing rock and roll before there was such a thing in terms of the passion and the sex drive, even his playfulness with the rhythm. He was very heavy-handed too. 1999. Okay. Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead said this in 1982. Here's what he said. I've been influenced a lot by John Coltrane, but I've never copped his licks or sat down and listened to records and tried to play his stuff. I've been impressed with that thing of flow and of making statements that to my ears sound like paragraphs. Mixmaster Mike of Invisible Scratch Pickles and the Beastie Boys said, I love Miles Davis' Autumn Leaves. Old cool jazz. I study the patterns, the way he plays his notes, and incorporate that into my scratching. The silence is key, 1998. Sean Lennon said in 1998, it is a weird word in Spanish. Sorry for being weird. It's for a video. Okay. I really like jazz, Brazilian music, funk. Those are things my dad wasn't into. So John Lennon wasn't into jazz, Brazilian music, or funk, I guess. But his son was. His son Sean was into that. Lennon was into that. I could imagine him saying, why are you doing this fake jazz shit on your record? What is this crap? John Lennon would have said that? I thought John Lennon would dig jazz. I mean, he was a hip cat. Anyways. My mom's 65. She doesn't come from the 60s. The music she grew up listening to was not the Beatles. She grew up listening to the Three Penny Opera, and that's what she turned me on to. Schoenberg, Wagner, some serious shit. Listen to John Cage, Prepared Piano. That's the stuff that was important to her. Okay. Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day in 1998 said, Elvis Presley's The Sun Sessions was the first record I ever bought. That's the first record I ever bought. Huh? I lucked out with that one. I remember I wanted to buy an Elvis record because I had just seen one of his movies and he looked the best on the cover of Sun Sessions, so I got that one. The pompadour. That was the coolest part. Polly Jean Harvey said this in 1995. Blues is what I grew up listening to. I was very lucky to have parents with a fine record collection. God knows what I'd have turned out like if I didn't. I was brought up listening to John Lee Hooker, The Howling Wolf, to Robert Johnson, and a lot of Jimi Hendrix and Captain Beefheart. Yeah, I like Jimi Hendrix and Captain Beefheart. Dude, Captain Beefheart in particular, I mean, that's some really great avant-garde stuff. I can see how it's kind of like reflected in her music because the avant-garde type of ism of her music, and then with Jimi Hendrix, the the adventurous musicianship of her songs. Okay. So I was exposed to all these compassionate musicians at a very young age, and that's always remained to me and remained in me and seems to surface more and more as I get older and have more experience myself. Patti Smith said this in 1996. When Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone came out, I was in college. I think I was a freshman. It was so overwhelming that nobody went to class. We were just roaming around, talking about this song. I didn't know what Dylan was talking about in this song, but it didn't matter. It needed no translation. It just made you feel like you weren't alone, that someone was speaking your language. Maybe I should. I kind of like to think that I sound like a college professor, or like a dean or a college professor, and maybe I should call this show Professor Music. Or, nah. Okay. Michael Stipe of REM said this. Patti Smith's Horses was really visceral. It grabbed me like nothing else I'd heard before. There was something that was very real, very no bullshit. And in 1976, there wasn't much of that around. 1996, he said that. Oh, hey, how's it going, QT Barney? How's it going? This is my rock discussion group. We're talking rock. I was trying to think of a good title for my. I wanted to have a new YouTube live stream that's kind of like a music debate forum, and the first thing I thought of was just Rock Talk, which I know I could do better than that, but that's like the working title. But then I thought, like, what else? Rock and roll arguments. Then I thought, like, rock and roll debates. But I just want to come up with a more clever title than that. So my wheels are spinning. But then I thought, like, Professor Mike's Rock Talk. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of the best title for this show. Okay. Dan Wilson of Semisonic said this in 1998. I try to learn REM a little bit in terms of lyrics. If a line in a song can mean two really different things and hide some of what the song's about, I think it all turns out for the best. If there's something to discover later and it's not all too straightforward. I tried to learn that from listening to Michael Stipe a lot. I definitely didn't learn that from Prince. We can fuck until the dawn. So what he's saying is that Prince's stuff is like more sexual and it's more, but Michael Stipe's lyricism is more like profound and poetic. Okay. Let's see. Stevie Nicks said this in 1994. Joni Mitchell's Court and Spark was a very big influence. My relationship with Lindsey Buckingham was coming to an end. Not only was it music I loved to listen to, but she really helped me put everything into perspective. She wrote songs that were perfect for me while I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. She said that in 1994. Paula Cole said this in 1998. So I hope you people like this show. I was just trying to make it like because the reason I started the show is because a lot of times when I do these scripts that I wrote, some of these people in the audience just end up asking me music questions, and we have like musical debates. Anyway, so I thought, like, why don't I have a separate show that features musical debates? Okay. Paula Cole said this in 1998. Kate Bush's Hounds of Love was influential to me at that pivotal point in my life when I was wondering if I was going to be a jazz singer, struggling financially through life and depressing lounge gigs, or I was going to be write my own music. After hearing Hounds of Love, great album, it became clear that I should choose the latter. She made it acceptable to be audacious and bizarre and passionate. I think what she's saying is, Kate Bush, she's not the most popular, she's in popular music and everything. She's not the biggest chart topper of all time by any means. She only recently gained any kind of chart success in America because her song "Running Up That Hill" was featured in Stranger Things episode. But but I think what Paula Cole is saying is that Kate Bush kind of made it like she's got kind of like almost got like this like classical training type of. But I don't think she's. I think she's self-taught actually. But she sounds like a classical. For somebody who's like actually self-taught, she kind of sounds like a classical musician. She's a great piano player, and I think she's self-taught. But like, she sounds like the sophistication of her music. Um, Makes you think that she was actually classically trained, which I don't think she was. I think she was actually self-taught. But I think what Paula Cole is actually saying is that like Kate Bush made it like kind of acceptable to somebody for somebody to be ambitious in music and like have these pretensions and really want to create something ambitious and musically reach that, you know, not just do it for the to score a pop hit, but like really have these high musical ambitions and at the same time be kind of an artist that you could play on the radio and be a popular artist and at the same time um, be very musically ambitious in terms of like writing songs and pieces that are kind of like not just like three chord pop songs, but like that even have like classical influences and avant-garde and stuff like that. And I think that's what she's saying. Okay. Um, Erica Badu said this in 1997. I was greatly influenced by the 70s music that my mom listened to. Stevie Wonder, Shaka Khan, Miles Davis. She had good taste. I heard these things from the womb. She claims to have heard these things from the womb. Oh, I got somebody named Katie Burkhart. Thanks for joining me, Katie. This is my rock discussion forum. So Erica Badu actually claims to have heard music when she was in the womb, and I guess that's why she's so good at it because she heard it in the womb and she started developing her musical skills in the womb. That's really fascinating. Joan Jett said this in 1997. When I got into glitter stuff and I moved to California with my family, I got even more into David Bowie. T-Rex, Sweet, Susie Quattro was a huge thing for me because I never had seen a woman play rock and roll. And to see her with a bass screaming really inspired me. I thought, well, if she could do it, I could do it. And if I could do it, then there's got to be other girls out there who are thinking about doing this. And she said this in 1997. That's pretty cool comment. You like Katie Lang? KD Lang? She said in 1997, Katie Lang said this. She said, Patsy Cline goes without saying. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the thumbs up, Katie Burkhart. That's really nice of you. Are you Katie? You must be a subscriber, right? I'm sure you subscribe. Anyways, I hope you check out all my videos too, because I get a lot of great stuff that I recorded for you and the rest of the subscribers. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. She really initiated the whole first era of Katie Lang, the whole country punk thing. Yeah, Katie Lang is a really cool chick. She's a country punk lesbian, actually. She's a lesbian, and she's like a meat is murder, anti-meat person. She's like a vegetarian. She doesn't believe in killing animals for meat, which I don't really agree with that personally. I think, when I see a cow, I think, that's milk and cheeseburgers. That's that's why it's there. But I think it's a cool stance that you take. So you got to stand for what you believe in, just like the John Mellencamp stand. You got to stand for something or fall for anything, right? But anyways, but I do believe in the liberal cause, but I'm not to that extent where it's like meat is murder or something. Wait, Mike is Mike. It's time to throw some cheeks for America. Why the fuck are animals made of food? Animals are. I mean, some animals are pets and some are food, right? I mean, some animals. I think. Like you wouldn't eat a dog or something like that, like or you don't want to eat like a dog or a frog or a. Well, I guess people eat frog legs. Do it for America, but Micah, but I mean, you know, I could see eating a cow because all it does is like stand there in the field like eating grass all day, and it doesn't really serve much of a purpose. But you can see like. So you see, like a cow is meant to be food, right? You milk it, and you get delicious steaks and burgers out of it. I mean, even if it's wrong, I think it's worth it because those burgers are so delicious and so are those steaks. But oh, thanks, Katie. So I fucking believe in like eating animals for food, but certain animals you shouldn't eat. Like you don't want to eat like a cat or a dog, of course, for food. Or you don't want to eat like there's a lot of animals that should be off limits. Some of these beautiful rare animals, and we gotta like save some of these animals for the zoo. What about? I'll donate 50 if you really. Oh, thanks. Okay. Anyway, so some animals are for the zoo, some are for eating, and some are for pets, and some are for just keep them in the wild. So when we go to the wild, we go to Yellowstone Park. We can enjoy the animals. Okay. Turn to another page. You people are wait, I'm still listening, right? Well, so I got Katie Burkhart. Are you still there, Katie? Okay, I hope so. Let's see. Oh, who's with me now? I got a listener. It looks like I got one listener. Iggy Pop, one of my favorite songwriters. He said this in 1986. Oh my God! Okay, I don't even know if I can't believe what he said. Just listen to what he said. I think I can say this on YouTube. Here's what here's what Iggy Pop said in 1996. I like to lick girls' sweaty armpits in the summer. He said that. The smell really turns me on, especially if they have hair. That's disgusting, Iggy. Okay. I go crazy. Every summer I avoid Beach Boys concerts. Well, he's a really trippy dude, so I'm not surprised at anything I heard this guy say, but I'm trying to do Iggy Pop's voice, the way he talks. Wait. I've been trying to go to Europe a lot and playing these festivals. When I don't, I go to Mexico and just jump in the ocean. It's probably not the best Iggy Pop impression, but wait a minute. But I'm doing my best. Okay. I jump in the ocean a lot. Ocean over pool. Pool is bad. I've got a. Okay. Whatever. I don't want to read that whole thing. He said that in 1996. Okay. All right. Let's see. No, I never heard anything, but he said that like I don't know how like that's the one body part. I mean, how can you be? Anyways, I never heard anyone who say that they were turned on by armpits. But anyways, to me that's pretty bizarre. But Iggy, he's a great songwriter, a great artist. Christian Hirsch of Throwing Music said this in 1996. Okay. We were on tour in the Southwest in the summer. I was 7 months pregnant, and the air conditioning in the tour bus broke down. Her husband and her were sleeping in the back lounge. Her sister had been like pouring ice cubes down her dress all day. It was like 120 degrees or something. And I woke up in the back lounge at 4 a.m. to see the sheets and the rugs and all our clothes flying around the room because the vents were pushing out geysers of hot air. It was like 1,000,000 degrees. It was like The Exorcist. I thought we took a wrong turn into hell. Okay. Let's see. Oh, here's another Gwen Stefani quote. She said this in 1996. Okay, Gwen Stefani in 1996, of no doubt. Every nook and cranny of New York has some kind of style or weird, trippy thing going on. I love it. Everything you see looks like it's been used. I don't know if I could live in New York, but I sure like the energy and the oldness. There's something really neat about the fact that everyone shared this place over and over and over again. Okay. Mark McGrath of Sugar Ray said this in 1998. I can't stand Europe. They don't speak English over there, you know. If you're in Germany, they don't speak any English. I'm a total white trash American kid. I like my conveniences. Like I like 7-Eleven, I like MTV. I'm a product of a mini mall. It's my culture. If there isn't a Starbucks, a 7-Eleven, and a fucking pizza joint, I feel out of place. Well, I mean, I personally would love to visit Europe, so I don't side with them. I like Mark McGrath. I think he's a great songwriter and singer, but I don't agree with him. I want to visit Europe. Okay. They got to unite the currency over there in Europe. When you're touring and you buy something for $10, you get all these coins back, and the next day you're somewhere else, and you can't trade these coins in. I got a list of complaints that could fill up a couple of pages. We're doing so well here that it's hard for me to go play for 10 people in Europe. We flogged ourselves like the old heavy metal acts on CMC International. We're here again. The kids there are just like the kids here. If it's not happening, it's not happening. I know it's a line from Singles, but we're big in Belgium. Okay. Let's see. Hmm. What are the quotes we got here? Trying to find my favorite rock people in here and their quotes. What have been? Okay, the next person I quote, the next person whose quote I read, you'll notice one of my favorite rock people because I'm going to be very selective here. Um, Liz Phair said this in 1998. Liz Phair, one of my favorite female songwriters. She said, "For me, summer's in Winnetka, Illinois." She grew up in Winnetka, Illinois. Liz Phair. I didn't know she was that rich growing up. Oh my God. Winnetka, do you know how expensive it is to live there? Okay, so Liz Phair's in Winnetka. I thought she was like poor. Okay, but I still like her just as much. Anyways, we're about all these long-haired high school girls riding around in rabid convertibles. There were bonfires and new swimsuits to wear, escapades in the city with fake IDs, and big bombastic Midwestern thunderstorms. And of course, there was the annual Dead Show event. We'd go up to Alpine Valley, Wisconsin to get away from our parents. That was where I first tried drugs. There was this bunch of girls, and we'd go into scraps and try to keep each other out of trouble. My girlfriends all had brothers that were about 2 years older. And the summer before our senior year, everyone in their circle dated one of us. I remember that I felt pretty. She felt pretty that summer. My high school, because I don't want to say like I'm saying it about myself or something. I'm reading something. Okay. She felt pretty that summer. My high school was a very Ferris Bueller of the Breakfast Club. John Hughes went there. John Hughes went to the same high school as Liz Fair. That's really cool. Okay, so anyways, so at one point, the national perception of the teen experience was somewhat based on our high school. Okay. This is like my version of church, actually, like going to church or something, talking music. Okay. And this is the Bible. It's the Rolling Stone Raves. Okay. We were so giddy and power bad, but the attitude changed. One night, my friend and I were driving her rabbit home from a party, and we both had too much to drink. I was leaning my head on the passenger side, resting it there because the metal felt cool and nice. Then I noticed the parkway trees whizzing past my hair. I was like, shit, we're driving up on the grass. That pretty much sobers us up. The whole summer euphoria sort of ended. Okay. Let's see. How about try to find one of my other favorite rockers in here. And I'm skipping past the people that I think are good, but I'm kind of narrowing it down to the elite few that are my favorites. Trying to find okay. What would really be cool is if one of these people that I'm talking about in this discussion was actually listening in on my live stream. Like if Liz Fair was actually if she herself was listening to this on my YouTube live stream, I would just be floored by that. Okay. Okay, Tanya Donnelly of Throwing Muses and Bellies said this in 1994. We listened to Pavement Slanted and Enchanted a lot when we were on the road. I like their looseness. They're so open to any influence that comes along. Yeah, Pavement, I guess that is a pretty good band. They got the song Haircut. Haircut's a really good song. Speaking of, I got a funny story to tell you about a haircut, incidentally. I went to get a haircut yesterday, and it was a guy stylist who was cutting my hair yesterday. So it was a male, and I like to have a female stylist. I don't like to have a man cutting my hair, and I like to have a female doctor and a female hairstylist. Those are just kind of like, those are like requirements of mine. But so I go in, and there was like 4 females and 1 guy, and as luck would have it, I got the guy's hairstylist. And not only was I so pissed off that it was a guy cutting my hair, but he was doing it so slowly. It was driving me nuts. It's like snip, 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 snip. And so I just I stopped the haircut. I just decided to end the haircut and just tried to get somebody else. And at first it was like, he was like, it's too bad. We already got, I'm in the middle of this already. We already started this haircut. And I said, no, I want a female hairstylist. So I ended up, being able to cajole him into, but I had to wait a few minutes so I could get the female hairstylist. Lisa Loeb said this in 1997. Um, it's an exciting thing to go to a 7-Eleven, leaf through a couple of magazines, and breeze out without getting caught. Ooh, you're wild. Okay, wait a minute. Weekly World News is the only tabloid that's true. It's a wonderful thing to read while on tour to catch up on the news. 1997, she said that. Neil Young said this in 1993. I like to walk. A lot of times I'll stop the bus and walk for 3 or 4 miles and then let the bus catch up with me on the road. Okay, yeah, that was pretty funny actually. Okay, so Andrew Gonzalez of Real Big Fish said this in 1997. Let's see. I sleep on the bus. That passes time pretty good. A lot of guys will sit in the back lounge and indulge themselves in whatever, like reading poetry and stuff like that. We sit around in our underwear and paint our toenails a lot. I can't believe what I'm reading. We check out the previous day's show on the VCR, or we wait until we go to a truck stop and buy a movie to watch. Well, they're rock stars. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They could be weird and eccentric, and they can wear women's clothes if they want. They're rock stars, okay? Scott Kloppenstein just said that that's usually a time when everybody pulls his pants down. No, okay, I don't. This guy says some weird shit. No, I can't say that. Okay. No, I don't want to. Oh. I almost accidentally said that because I'm like, as I'm reading, wait, what the fuck am I reading? You know what I mean? Okay. Michael Staple of R.E.M. said this. Talk about power. Put your hands up and 20,000 people scream. So that's a pretty good, succinct way to. Wait a minute. David Bowie said this. I'm going to try to do it in an English accent like David Bowie. I'd never been out with a model before, so I hadn't even bargained on the cliche of the rock star and the model as being part of my life. So I was well surprised to meet one of the who was devastatingly wonderful and not the usual sort of bubblehead that I'd met in the past. I make no bones about it. I was naming children the night we met. I knew that Iman was for me. It was absolutely immediate. I just fell under her spell. Our romance was conducted in a very gentlemanly fashion I have for quite some time. Lots of being led to doorways and polite kisses on the cheek. Flowers and chocolates and the whole thing. I knew it was precious from the first night, and I just didn't want anything to spoil it. He said that in 1993. That was a quote from David Bowie in 1983. No, Art Garfunkel. He said this in 1997. I think Nicole Kidman is hot. So's my wife, but I mean, Nicole Kidman is a really watchable actress. To die for? One horny movie, if you ask me. Okay. Who likes Art Garfunkel? Okay. Let's see. Oh, Neil Young said this. And Neil Young said this in, wait a minute, where was it? Oh, in 1993, this is what Neil Young said. I love rap. It's speaking to the people on the streets. He loves rap because it's like speaking to the people that are on the streets. It's a whole new way of communicating that's so open to satisfying exactly what the hell's on people's minds in a clever way, a way that you can listen to and move your body to, similar to like Subterranean Homesick Blues. Bob Dylan is early rap. What the hell's the difference? This is the shit going to keep music alive. Don't close it off because you don't understand it. So he's pro rap, Neil Young. And his music sounds like anything but rap, but okay. Polly Jane Harvey said this in 1995. Soft Cell's Tainted Love is probably one of my favorite songs of all time. Okay. Um, hmm. Um, um, oh, David Perner of Soul Asylum said this in 1998. Baby corn makes me crazy. Mutant alien corn. You cob. I can't even think about that. Does it grow on stalks? I wonder if he remembers us saying that. Okay. Tracy Bonham said this in 1998. A banana with peanut butter and a big glass of milk. I can't cook. Weird Al Yankovic said this in 1996. I'm famous for my peanut butter, broccoli, and Vaseline sandwiches. On whole wheat bread, of course. If I ever start a health food restaurant, that'll be the main item. Once you get past the greasiness of the Vaseline, it does satisfy one of the major food groups, petroleum. Ziggy Marley said this in 1997. So these are rock stars talking about food. I recommend trying some of the vegetarian dishes like kalaloo. It's like spinach, but it's different. It's authentic Jamaican steamed. It's a leafy vegetable, so you just steam it. Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top said this in 1996. Mopane worms are a peculiar culinary delight. There's some sort of critter that loves the fruit from the mopane tree. They're a high source of protein and are harvested by the bagful. They're smoked, salted, hit with a little peri-peri spice, and brother, stand back. They're crunchy, they have the delightfulness of the peanut, and they look frightful enough to scare your best friend from ever taking a bite of anything edible again. They're legal for importation across the world. Go out and get your bag of Mopanes today. It's interesting to hear what rock stars, what kind of food they like. Okay. I know Katy Perry, she likes avocado, tacos, and stuff like that. Anyways. I've actually been leaning towards the vegetarian side of things for the last 5 years. I think I broke the code. Texas guys are a vital part of the meat industry. He's gone vegetarian. I can see that Billy Gibson has gotten. I mean, do you notice how thin Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, the guitar player from ZZ Top? I could see how he's gone vegetarian. That guy is really thin now. I'd almost like to see him put a few pounds on it, a little more meat on his bones. I don't think vegetarianism is the best type of diet because it's you don't get enough protein. I don't think. Okay, but he's still a great guitarist. He's one of the best one of my favorite guitar players. And he probably is still strong and has his muscle mass and everything. But I don't think just eating all vegetables, you're not going to get the protein you need. Anyways, Adam Adrock Horovitz of the Beastie Boys said this. Just straight up coffee with cream or milk or whatever and sugar. I have no problem with espresso. I just need coffee fast. I don't want to wait around. Lisa Loeb in 1997 said, flourless chocolate cake. Flourless chocolate cake? And it has to be really dense. I also really like the miniature Reese's peanut butter cups. Oh, those are great. Miniature Reese's peanut butter cups. I agree with her on that. Those are the bomb. I could eat like a bag full of those. I used to just like lay on my bed watching TV and just pounding those things into my mouth. Reese's miniature peanut butter cups. Okay. They have good Peanut butter density. Yeah, the peanut butter. She's right about that. The peanut butter density in the Reese's peanut butter cups is really good. I have a dream of having lemon ice cream, but I have to find somebody who can make lemon ice cream. I'll try to make lemon ice cream for Lisa Loeb and invite her over. Where they use lemons, um, but it doesn't make the cream curdle. And cheese fries with real cheese. Oh, I love cheese fries too. Yeah. So let's start with the big. Oh yeah, this part of this book? This is the raves. So these are not only, I guess it's not only the things that inspired, not only the bands that inspired these rock and roll legends, but foods that inspired them too, and different bands and different songwriters that they were inspired by, but if they were inspired by different foods to write songs, I guess, or just maybe they're just talking food. I don't know, but or if they were actually inspired by the food to write different songs, like the food inspired them. I'm not sure. I'll have to read on to figure that out. But what's cooking? Whether you live to eat or eat to live, your taste in food says so much about you. To some, food is just a necessity. If it's easy, it's good. To others, culinary delights are divine ecstasies, akin to unbelievable sex. Yeah, food is like sex at its best, isn't it? It's better than sex, food. Okay. Some require a bit of atmosphere with their victuals. Others need only tried and true recipes in the privacy of their own kitchens. That might not seem rockin', but after long months on the road, can you blame them? Okay. Joan Jett. This is Joan Jett's recipe. Oh yeah, I want to give you Joan Jett's recipe for disaster. No, I'm just kidding. Joan Jett's falafel recipe. She's got a falafel recipe. A half pound or 1 1/4 cups of dried chickpeas, 1 teaspoon finely chopped garlic, 3/4 cups of finely chopped onion, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of salt, 4 tablespoons chopped cilantro or parsley, pinch of cayenne pepper, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, a half teaspoon of baking powder, a half cup of flour, oil for frying, cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuce, pocket pita bread. Serve 6 to 8. 1. Soak chickpeas overnight. Cook in boiling salted water until tender, 1.5 hours. Drain and mash to a paste in food processor. 2. Mix paste with garlic, onion, cumin, salt, cilantro, cayenne pepper, lemon juice, baking powder, and flour. Form into balls or squish flat like pancakes. 3. Heat 2 inches of oil in a heavy iron skillet and throw if it doesn't hold together, would you? Add more flour to the mix. Fry until brown. 4. Serve inside pita pocket bread with festively arranged cucumbers, tomatoes, and lettuce. Douse with tahini sauce. See recipe below. Did she write that recipe? Because that's pretty good, like recipe writing, actually. Tahini sauce. A half cup of sesame paste. 3/4 teaspoon of finely chopped garlic. 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. A cup of plain yogurt. Blend ingredients until smooth. Add seasoning if needed. So she wrote that recipe. I'm assuming she wrote the recipe in 1998. Did she come up with the recipe? So not only is she a good songwriter, but she can come up with like food recipes. She's like a. She's not only a musical genius, but she's a culinary genius. Talk about a Renaissance woman. Okay. Melissa Oftermore of Hull wrote this in 1991. Well, thanks for the thumbs up, whoever gave me that. Cafe Saint-Tropol in Montreal is the most incredible health food and fancy fruit ice cream cake place. I don't know why, but I like to know. I like to hear like what rock stars, what kinds of foods they eat, and I like to hear rock stars talk about food. It's something kind of interesting about that. Like they're talking about something other than rock, something that they're passionate about. Because I mean, because I'm passionate about food too. Myself, I mean, I'm a food lover myself, and the actually hear fellow rock stars talk about the foods that they love is like kind of a cool thing to me. Okay, it's right around the corner from the house I grew up in. It's an incredible, total hippie commune restaurant that I've gone to for soy Sundays since I was 2. It's run by crazy hippies in an old house decorated like a tea room. A wacky place, 1999, she said that. Chris Robinson of the Black Crowes said this in 1995. I have 4 boxes of Kraft macaroni and cheese in my house now. I really live a glamorous lifestyle. When I had an apartment with our drummer years ago, once in a while we'd chop up a kosher hot dog and throw it in there. When we were really living on the town, I used to do that. I used to chop up hot dogs and put them in macaroni, Kraft macaroni and cheese. But you know what the best thing? You know, now this is a recipe that I came up with. You take Kraft macaroni and cheese. No, I mean this is a very simple. Yeah, I mean it's we're not talking like fine cuisine or anything, but you take Kraft macaroni and cheese. You take the Oscar Meyer cheese dogs. You slice those up. You throw it into the Kraft macaroni and cheese, and you throw in ketchup, and you mix it all together. It becomes this kind of like weird kind of potpourri type. I mean, Horn of Plenty type of thing. I don't know, something like that. Anyway. So that's what kind of food he likes. Jeff Buckley said, hot dogs, the clean New York variety. You've got your crappy hot dog, fragile bun, watery sauerkraut, ketchup and mustard. It's only $1. It's like eating the city for $1. Okay, let's see. Now, Paula Cole said this in 1995. We are very industrious about finding good food. Finding the one natural food store in the entire city. You know, you could write a song about food. I mean, you could write I actually think you could write a great song about your passion for food. You pick out a particular food that you're passionate about and actually write about your song for your love of that food. It's almost as strong as your love for another person. Okay. Sometimes there are surprises. For instance, in Birmingham, Alabama, they have a wonderful health food store where I had the best musaman curry I've ever had. I've been a vegetarian since I was 14. With the odd exception like birthday cake and a birthday, I avoid eggs and dairy. And my body, thankfully, feels much cleaner and healthier this way. Joaquin Grossman, please enable subtitles later. I'm from Germany, and I wish I could better understand English. Enable subtitles? Okay, can I put can you put the subtitles on like in between in the middle of the stream, or do you have to like put it on in the before you start streaming? Do you have to put it in the Okay, I'll put the subtitles on for you next time. Yeah, I'm part German myself. I have ancestors from Germany, but I'm from America, and I'm a quarter German. But yeah, so it's cool to meet somebody with German blood. I'll watch it later. Okay, can you put the subtitles on yourself?